I'm Thanis. I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Florida. I've been appointed by the City of St. Pete Beach to serve as the special magistrate for code enforcement hearings. I'm not an employee of the city. I'm an independent attorney. I do not confer with the city's code enforcement officers outside of the hearing process about your cases. Your hearing will be conducted in accordance with Florida law and the city's code of ordinances. The burden is on the city to prove its case. You'll have an opportunity to testify and present any evidence, including photographs and records. Anyone who will be testifying today will be required to testify under oath. My goal is to make sure that I conduct a fair hearing during which everyone is given a chance to present what you think I need to hear to decide the case. At the end of the case, I will most likely announce my decision. A written decision will follow and will be emailed to you. Please understand that I don't have the authority to grant variances or give you permission to do something that the code does not allow you to do. I'll try to be clear and concise in making my decision. If something about my decision is confusing or unclear, please ask me to clarify it. If I find that you violated the code, I'll most likely order you to bring your property into full compliance within a specific number of days. I also have the legal authority to impose a fine and administrative costs incurred by the city in pursuing the case. If you fail to pay the fine by the deadline, the city will most likely file a lien against your property, which will cloud title to the property. When I call your case, please come to the podium, identify yourself, and let me know whether you're one of the owners of the property or related to the property in some other capacity. I'll then ask the city's code enforcement officer to present the city's case. You'll have an opportunity to respond at that point. You may ask the code enforcement officer questions, but I'll conduct how the question and answer session goes. At the conclusion of the hearing, I will announce my decision. You may appeal my decision to the circuit court. Any person who wants to appeal my decision will need a record of the proceedings, which must include a verbatim record of the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is based. Please understand the goal of these hearings, not to punish you, but to get compliance if the city is correct in its assessment about your property. The hearing is being videotaped, so you'll need to speak into the microphone. I'll now ask everyone who will be testifying today to stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in. That includes Mr. Olson, who's on the phone. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll be giving today will be the truth? And I'll show that everyone in the chambers has stood and taken the oath. And Mr. Olson, I assume you are on and you took oath of to tell the truth also, correct?
Yes, I did.
All right, thank you. All right, and start at the top of the agenda. Anything
Yes.
be expedited? If not, we'll go in order.
No changes.
No changes. Pete, do you want to take Mr. Olson first?
Yes, let's do that.
If you don't mind. So we're going to move
All right.
4A to the top of the
All right,
agenda.
new case, 2023-0137, City versus Bradley Olson. Case number, I just read that, 2023-0137, 617 72nd Avenue. And Mr. Cruz appears. Now, Mr. Olson, I'm the hearing officer. I'm going to have Mr. Cruz tell me a little bit about your case, and then you'll have an opportunity to respond, okay?
Okay.
All right. Mr. Cruz, go ahead.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, Special Magistrate. I'm Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. And this is Code Enforcement Case number 2023-0137. The respondent is Bradley A. Olson. The violation address is 617 72nd Ave. Violation description. The property is in violation of sections 4633-3, 4AB, and 9866, A, B, 1, AC, 2, AB, 3, AB, 7, 9, and 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary. Initial inspection. March 6, 2023. Notice of violation dated March 28, 2023. Notice of violation compliance date 4/4/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property, which is 6/6/2023. And this is my affidavit of posting. And I just would like to say this is a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is at 617 72nd. And this is the property that is in disrepair. As you can see, the windows are in disrepair. The bottom, the foundation of the property is in disrepair. Another picture from the front of the property. And again, a little bit closer of a shot for the windows that really need to be updated, and a lot of them are broken and bowed in, as well as you can see the siding is broken there, as well as the foundation on the bottom. And as you can see, the steps, they're in disrepair as well. They have cracks. It's needs to be cleaned and or painted. And as you can see by the doorway, the hinges, you can see the foam that was put there. It's not covered up properly or done properly. And another shot of the windows on the front of the house, as well as the foundation as well. And the corrective action. This property must be maintained to prevent deterioration and not create an unsightly condition. Property is not compliant. And we were going to recommend, recommend fines for today, but it looks like we're going to be asking you, Special Magistrate, if the city would like to reserve the right to fine at a later date. And we would like the property owner, which is Bradley Olson on the phone here, to give us some type of action plan and set another special magistrate hearing for an update for next month. And that concludes my presentation.
All right, Mr. Olson, anything you'd like to add to what Mr. Cruz has said, or anything you'd like to let me know about the property?
I'd like to apologize that the property is in poor condition. That's the way it was when I bought the property back into the family. It was a family property from 1952 on, my grandfather's house, my grandmother's house. And, it fell into disrepair when it was sold out of the family. When my mother sold it in 2005, the person that bought it really didn't do anything with it, didn't put a tenant in it or anything. And, the roof started leaking and caused a lot of problems inside. And primarily on that side where all the damage is, on the Gulf side. And, so I put a new roof on it right after I bought the property last year, and thought I was going to, be able to restore the place, because went there a lot when I was a kid, and I, had a lot of sentimental attachment to it. And I'm back there. I'm not going to be able to save it. So I'm going to demolish it. And I've got a contractor that I just signed up to do that this weekend. It's H.H. Ferguson Company, and they're going to take care of it. And I'll do whatever it takes, to comply. I'm just, I have to, Lewis said that is going to give me the number for the bond, for the spot bond. And he's called, and just, find out how I have to, send a check for that. And, the demolition company, be able to probably get to that right away. They're going to put the application in this week, and be able to move quickly. So it sounds like it shouldn't take more than 30 to 45 days to have the building go on. Wanda from that company said that she was calling Duke Energy already today to permanently just disconnect the electric, and so she's moving forward on the utilities part of it. And I guess that's all I have to say.
Mr. Olson, do you have a signed contract with the contractor to demolish the house?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and is there a...
Copy to Lewis.
Okay, is there a deadline in the contract for getting the work completed?
Excuse me?
Is there a deadline in the contract for getting the demolition work done?
You broke up there, sir.
Yeah. Actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish a timetable for getting the house demolished. First of all, I understand your situation. I see from notices in the file that you're in Wisconsin. Do you have somebody down here who was supposed to have taken care of the property, or are you just trying to do this remotely from Wisconsin?
Well, I have my neighbor helping me that lives in the house next door. So he's been, trying to help me. He's been cutting the grass for me and that sort of thing. And, I've just been trying to see if I could restore the property, but there's not enough money available due to the FEMA rules for the valuation of a building is too low to give me enough room to repair it. So I'm going to have to tear it down.
All right.
I'm at that point now. So, I believe that, within, 30 to 45 days, the house will be gone and the place will be resodded and, then I'm going to continue on and see if I can afford to, put up another structure there.
Yeah, Mr. McConnell, any recommendation on how much time I should give Mr. Olson to complete the demolition?
Well, based on the testimony today and Mr. Olson confirming that he does plan on demoing it, because the city doesn't normally require demolitions, we were going to assume that there's some kind of action plan that can put together. But based on that testimony, we're going to reserve ruling on fines until the August. Essentially, we're going to continue this to August 14th with the understanding that Mr. Olson will by that time have filled out the demolition permit, gotten his contractor signed, communicated with the city, and hopefully provide at that point an action plan if it's not already taken care of.
Mr. Olson, did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to find the city has proven its case. There's no doubt from the photos that there are substantial major defects with the property that would be very costly to try to rehabilitate the property. I've heard Mr. Olson, the owner, indicate that his plan is to demolish the property. I'll accept the city's recommendation to hold off on setting any fines. I want you to understand that originally the city was asking me to impose a fine of $250 per day starting back in April 5th. That goes back to a deadline they had given you through some notices they had issued internally. We're not going to impose any fines today. What I'm going to do is continue the case until next month, August 14th, which gives you a little over a month to get number one, have your demo contractor come to the city, get a permit issued. A permit must be issued before August 14th. So you need to let your demo contractor know that's the deadline. And number two, there needs to be a date, a specific date that is given to the city as far as the completion of the demolition. And at that point, we'll decide what the next steps will be for the case.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I plan on having it. Hopefully, the place will be demolished by then.
It'd be great if it was.
That'll hopefully.
So you'll have a vacant lot left. I don't know if you have any debt on the property, but I'm sure you're aware that St. Pete Beach properties are very valuable, and there will be some residual value with the empty lot. And I don't know what your plan is long-term, but if you are thinking about selling it, I'm sure you can get your expenses out of it plus some. So it's something that you need to be thinking long-term. But obviously, the current condition cannot continue. So it sounds like you've acknowledged that, and we're going to move forward accordingly. I do want to email you my written decision so you can share that with your demo contractor. Does anybody have Mr. Olson's email address?
Yeah.
If you could give it to Ms. Botkin, and she'll email it to me when
Yes, sir.
she sends me the other emails. All right, Mr. Olson, anything else?
The only other thing was I was wondering if Lewis could send me the contact information for the officer I need to speak with to send in that sod bond.
Yes, Mr. Olson, I'll get with you after the special magistrate here, and I'll give you a call, and then I'll get you the numbers to all the correct people that you need to fulfill this next step of the process, okay?
Perfect. All right.
All right.
That's great.
All right, Mr. Olson, you can go ahead and drop off then. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Olson.
All right. Mr. Cruz, I don't know if that phone needs to stay there from now.
No.
Somebody's going to knock it off, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Go back to the top of the agenda. First case is St. Pete Beach versus Daniel Galuski, 2023-0024. Mr. Galuski is present, and I know that we had this case up a few months ago. Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Galuski,
Yeah, why don't you have a seat? Yeah.
I'm just gonna present real quick.
I'm going to have,
and then you can come up.
I'm going to have Mr. Cruz give me an update first, and then looks like you've got some information you want me to see. So,
Yeah, Ryan, can you put it on the overhead for me, please? As you can see, Special Magistrate, Mr. Galuski, he has fixed the proper thing that was asked of him for the plumbing to his clean-out that was asked. Took pictures of the reconcreting after they had finished it. He got the proper permitting that was needed from the city to get this done, and I just wanted to get that update and get that into fruition here.
so that's new concrete then that was put over?
Yes.
Okay.
This is all.
So it covers what was opened up before?
Yes.
All right.
So, Mr. Thanis, so the property is now compliant, and when it comes to fines, which the city reserved in the prior order that was part of the agenda, due to the substantial nature of the costs related to coming into compliance, the city is foregoing its imposition of fines. However, it would like to impose administrative costs. And yes, that's the city's position.
All right. Mr. Galuski, come on up to the podium. And I have what you've submitted to me. You showed it to Mr. Dewar, and it looks like it's very similar to what Mr. Cruz just showed me as far as you got the work done. Thank you for that. I see a check here. I'm going to take the check out of the packet, though, because these documents stay with me.
Okay.
And it's got your checking account number on there, and I'm assuming there's no objection to the city that I'm going to give this back to Mr. Galuski.
No.
It's a check. He's just showing
Yeah.
proof of payment to Armor Plumbing. I'd rather not have your checking account number in the public record. All right. And then I've got a paid receipt from Armor Plumbing. So you held up your end of the bargain. The city has indicated to me that you are not, they're not asking me to impose a fine on you, but you will have to pay the administrative costs, which are substantial, but you'll be getting a bill in the mail for that shortly.
How substantial?
It's not inexpensive, but, you know, there's,
I would say depending, we do have to calculate it because every case is different, but it ranges anywhere between $250 to $500.
Okay, I thought
Dollars.
you were talking.
No, not, it's just, yeah. But we'll get you that. We appreciate you coming into compliance.
you're all set? Okay, thank you.
And Jenny, let's talk about his check after. We should probably just redact his checking account.
Good afternoon, Special Magistrate.
Are we doing a second case?
Yes, please.
Okay, case number 2022-0662, Dennis Glushkov and Mariana Shvenko.
Yes, the Pete Dewar on behalf of the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. The city is requesting an order of compliance and agreement for lien reduction. And this is the lien reduction. Just so you're aware, the city has already received payment, and this case is basically closed. But we're just asking for your order indicating that the property is compliant. And if you go to the overhead, please, Brian, the three conditions that should have been met for this lien reduction include the taxes, proof of the taxes being paid, which is the first condition. And the city does have proof that the taxes were paid.
Okay.
Here's the proof. And the second condition is the applicant is not personally indebted to the city for any reason. The applicant is not indebted, and the code violations have been corrected. So again, we're just asking for that order of compliance and
All right,
agreement.
based on the information provided to me, I will enter an order showing full compliance and enter the order required by section 22-283, basically closing out the case.
Thank you.
Next case, case number 2022-0035, 2906 Pasadena Way, City of St. Pete Beach versus 2906 PAG LLC. And Mr. Cruz.
Good evening, Special Magistrate. Hey, Ryan, can you put on the overhead for me, please? First off, I would like to show there's the construction schedule that was submitted and approved by the city and our building officials. As you can see, the highlighted inspections for the 8th, the 14th, and the 20th. These were not completed. All the month of June, not one inspection there for those 3 dates were completed. Also, as you can see in your previous order, you needed to maintain the maintenance and keep the property upright, as well as continue to follow the construction plan that was given to him. And I would just like to show some new photos of the property. That is starting to get overgrown again. Excuse me. And this is a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. And this was the reposting of the property as well, the affidavit of posting for Mr. Dimitri to be here today. As you can see, not much has changed with the property since he has been here the last few months. I also drove by this weekend during my parking enforcement and seen that the property is overgrown even more than these pictures to date. Palm fronds in the trees, dead palm fronds. And again, like I had alluded to, the grass is even higher today as it was in these dated photos for June 26th. Have outside storage of construction materials and not sure what else. And as you can see, Special Magistrate, not much has changed. I also just talked with my permitting department to see if there was any holdup maybe on the city's end. She just looked through the case and said that there's no hiccups on our ends. Everything's in order on our side. Just waiting for him to get into action and get some of these things rectified. The city will be asking for fines for starting today for $250 a day until compliant.
Mr.
And plus
Thanis,
administrative costs, yes.
I may just sum up where we were, unless you had a question for Louis.
I just wanted Mr. Cruz to put the last photo back up on the, so I could see. It would look like more of a,
Yeah.
and just help me with the roof there, what's going on there.
Yeah, so he has like, I'm pretty sure that's some type of terracotta roofing that has been taken up, and that's what really, is an eyesore. You can drive by and see it on Paso Grill Way. This is how this case was started quite a while ago because of this unsightly look. This has just been ripped up and exposed for quite some time now, and it looks like nothing's been done. This is not new work that was done. This is how it's been for quite some time, Special Magistrate.
Okay. And also, I know we had continued this to last month, June 12th. I was not here for that hearing date. Did it continue generally to today?
Yes.
We actually asked the property owner, he didn't have to stay for the hearing.
Got it. Okay.
And just to sum it up, this, I think, but for last meeting, this has been in front of you since the beginning. The city's been more than lenient. We came up with an action plan. We required some specific things related to landscape maintenance and fixing the fence. A plan was put in place, a permit was issued, and now here we are with no work being done. Nothing's been done on the permit. Therefore, we are imposing fines today. Even though we could impose them back for 4 months ago, we are starting them today, and that is the request of the city.
Okay. All right. Mr. Artsapushev. Good afternoon.
Fun and
turn.
games. Couple of issues. One is the schedule was submitted and accepted. And then there went several weeks going by of actually issuing the permit because there was an issue of they wanted the architect to review the truss drawings. That took almost 2 to 3 weeks, and I don't know how exactly. I just asked Mr. Cruz to give me the date the actual permit was issued, because I think you'll find out that it was after, well after the permit, the schedule was submitted. So that pushed things back. Second of all, the contractor we had lined up, the concrete contractor that's lined up, because all the delays, ended up picking up another job, so he's now pushed back. So we can't get him to go start right away. We're trying to get him to start here in the next week or two.
This is a general contractor or a
It's
contractor?
the concrete contractor.
Concrete, okay.
And on top of that, our contractor's overseeing stuff for me is sick with the COVID. So his brother is here to testify to that effect. We've done everything we can. I know there's a calamity. Our trusses are already, we've ordered the stuff. They're being delivered on the 13th of this month. So I'm pushing to get this wall. We have nothing to put the trusses on. And as soon as the trusses are in, then we can replace the roof, and that's the holdup for the issue with the actual look of the roof it is right now.
Okay.
We're doing what I can.
All right. There are still just some general maintenance issues, though. I mean, just simple stuff like the landscaping and that
Landscaping's been maintained. I don't know what he's talking about being overgrown, but it's definitely not overgrown. I was there yesterday myself, and it's not overgrown. We have a contractor that comes out at least once a week during the summer, and once every 2 weeks was during the winter to come out and mow. So he's probably, if it was not mowed on Sunday, he's probably, or Saturday, whenever Mr. Cruz went by there, it'll probably be mowed this week.
Okay. All right. City, anything else to add?
No, Mr. Thanis, just that respectfully, the city's heard this before since April, and while I can understand contractor issues, we've been very lenient by not imposing fines, so we urge the magistrate to start the fines today. And when he finishes, he finishes.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Artsapushev, based on past history, and I understand that you've had some communication issues with the city, but a lot of this falls on your side. Not you necessarily personally. It sounds like you've had some contractors drop the ball, but that's certainly something that the city doesn't have control over.
Can you tell me the actual date the permit was issued? Do you have that? Mr. Cruz did not have it with him.
I don't have it all.
June 2nd.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, there was an open permit that expired that caused all of this, right? We reinstated it, and then June 2nd is when it was issued, which was 42 days ago.
Yeah. I think I was pretty specific in my order that I entered going back a few months ago about deadlines and all that.
I understand it, but I think the schedule was put out prior, well before the June permit issued.
And I think we set it for status for today, just thinking that was going to give you enough time, because I think I mentioned to you, I was surprised to see you, because I really thought we had given you enough time. I am going to accept the city's recommendation on this one. I ordinarily am very lenient when it comes to giving people a chance. I think I have. What I'm going to do, though, is accept the city's recommendation. I'm going to find the property is not in compliance with city code, the specific
say one more
sections.
thing?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
And I get you to waive that if for chance we still catch up and get it done before the permit dates were supposed to be issued.
Before
But it was 4 months allowed to finish construction.
So that would be.
We get it finished, if you waive everything else after we get it done with the time limit and stuff.
So all I can say is that there's a lien reduction process in the code, and every property owner is allowed to apply that way. But we can't do anything until the property's in compliance.
Yeah, I think I'm.
We had 4 months to get this completed, is what I'm
So
saying.
what you're saying is,
If we get it done in
take the
4 months.
42 days off now, and you're basically down to 2.5 months, and at that point, ask me to come back and reduce or vacate the fines. I'm willing to consider that, but I need to see progress. I think at this point, I will enter an order today imposing fines starting today of $250. I can set this for status if you want, going to the September hearing. And if by some chance you've gotten all your work done, you've got the city in position, and you want to ask for a lien reduction, then you could try, I certainly will listen to the city too, but I'll give you a chance at least. This gives you a chance at least to try to minimize your exposure. So I can't promise that I would reduce the lien.
So when does the 250 stop? Because if construction starts work, does it stop at that point, or does it
It
continue
stops
on?
when you inform the city that your property's in compliance and you have a final inspection.
So it's going to go 4 months, is what you're telling me?
It may go 6 or
It
7.
can
That's
go
all
as
right.
long as it takes, so
If I
that's
catch
why.
up with what's going on with the schedule, and when the revised schedule gets put in, and it's, you see what I'm saying? It's not the right way to do it.
Well, I respect your opinion, but all I'm saying is the fines are starting today. You can take as long as you need to bring the property into compliance, and at that point, there are criteria that need to be met in a lien reduction process in our code that you can apply for.
If we meet compliance by meeting the codes, meeting the schedule, then we should be in compliance at that point.
The schedule already included inspections that have not happened, so you've already not met the schedule. So
Catch up with the schedule, is what I'm trying to say.
You'll always have that opportunity to get as much done as you
All right,
can quickly.
I understand.
You'll have a chance to come back. I'll set it for status if you want for September 11th, so you know when the next date is, or 2 hearings from now. That gives you some time. And again, if you decide to come in and ask for a reduction, you have that authority to do so. I do recommend you look at the code because there is a process in the code. It's not that complicated, so a layperson can do it, but you'll have to go through whatever the code requires you to do that. All right?
Appreciate it.
All right, sir. Thank you. All right, next case is case number 2023-0255, 400 71st Avenue, Kimberly Ann Jordan. Is that you, miss? All right. I'm going to have Mr. Cruz go first, and you'll have a chance to come up and respond.
Sorry about that, Special Magistrate. There we go. I'm Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. Good evening, Special Magistrate. This is case number 2023-0255. Respondent is Kimberly Ann Jordan. The violation address is 400 71st Avenue. Violation description: the property is in violation of sections 4633 4B, 9865 3, and 9866A, B, 2AB of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: the initial inspection was 4/20/2023. Notice of violation dated 5/11/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 5/22/2023. Notice of hearing dated and posted on the property was 6/1/2023. And this is a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed, Special Magistrate. This is the affidavit of posted. That's 400 71st Avenue. And this is the property that is in disrepair. As you can see, the paint is very faded, which is starting to deteriorate the wood behind and the siding, which you can see there is starting to rot out on the side. As you can see here on the front left of the property, the deterioration. Left side of the house. This is just another shot of the front left side of the property. This is the left side of the property. As you can see, it's rusted. The door is very rusted there, that metal door. Paint's chipping off, flaking. As you can see here, the wood is rotted out so badly, it's all broken there, which is the framing of the door. There's an up-close picture from my first picture of the deteriorated siding. Corrective action: this property must be maintained to prevent deterioration and not create an unsightly condition. The property is not compliant. The recommended fine is $250 per day starting 5/23/2023 until compliant, plus administrative costs.
All right, Ms. Jordan,
That concludes my presentation.
come on up. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. So you heard Mr. Cruz, showed some pictures, condition of the house.
Yes.
What would you like for me to hear?
Well, this started, oh gosh, when they were doing all the construction on Blind Pass Road. They broke the water main, which just tore some of the boards down that was, the water was coming at the house. Next thing I know, the boards are coming off. I have spoken to 3 different code enforcement people as to what I can do and who I can contact for all the damage that was done to my property back when they were doing the construction on that road. I've got sinkholes in my property from where they've yanked out 3 palm trees. I've fallen in it. It's now got to be over 5 feet deep.
When did this road construction take place, and when did the broken water main occur?
Oh, this was back at the construction. What was that? Late 2018, went into 19.
All right, so since then, you've been trying to get whoever was doing the work to reimburse you or pay you something, or what were you doing?
I can't find anybody that will come and listen to me. I've called. What they did in the front of the house, I'm not sure if you can see it, right where the yellow tree was. When they did all this construction, all of that is full of tar from when they were digging it all up.
Go back more.
Yeah. That was the side, which is the Blind Pass side, where they broke the water main. And one of the workers was trying to stop it from going on my house, and he tried to put a bucket over it, and next thing you know, the bucket's flying. They broke the gas main that was in the front, which is where they were digging up when they were doing all that construction, and they've dug up so much, there's still tar. Parts of it I can't mow. The whole side, there is all rocks.
So
is this your personal residence? You live here full-time in
Yes.
this property? All right.
Yes,
And it's been in this condition for the last 5 years, you think, 4 or 5 years?
yes. I have asked, like I said, 3 different code enforcement. The first guy, I think his name was Eric or Aaron. And then another gentleman came in. He was the older of the code enforcement people. And I asked, and I've asked, and I've asked, and I've asked who I can contact. I've called Duke Energy, I've called Pinellas County Utilities, and nobody can help me.
So you had property damage on your house, is what you're saying, from this project, correct?
Yes.
Do you have homeowners insurance on this property?
Yes.
Did you file a claim with your own homeowners insurance to
did
get
not.
reimbursed so you can get the work done?
No, I did not.
No.
So, may I ask a
All right,
question?
Mr. McConnell.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi.
So, number one, I just wanted to inform you that anytime the city does a project of any magnitude in the right-of-way, we send letters, and there's always a risk manager where you can report things to. Back in 2018, it was someone different than who it is now, but that person is Carrie Nelson, okay, at the city. But I guess the question is, a lot of what you're suggesting the city, I guess, disrupted was based on landscaping and potholes, but what about the disrepair of the structure itself?
That's how it started, when the boards were falling off. That's where all the water was.
Okay.
And now, by the end of today, the property's gonna be under contract.
With who?
So
I'd have to look it up.
You're selling the property?
Yes.
And you're selling it as is?
Yes,
All right. All right, well, that's an important issue, too. So you're signing a contract today, is that what you?
by the end of today, it should be signed.
All right.
Because I just can't keep, I
Yeah.
can't,
So let me just tell you, I'm going to talk out kind of off the well, we're on the record, but let me just tell you my thoughts here.
All
The
right.
city has proven its case. Your property is not in compliance with city code. When I
Correct.
look at the pictures that Mr. Cruz put on the screen, it's clear that there were many violations of city code, and that it is your responsibility as the property owner to correct those. The cause of that is a separate issue. Whether you were the cause, the neighbor was the cause, the city was the cause, the county was the cause, an independent contractor hired by the city or the county was the cause, that's a separate issue. And you have all the rights in the world to pursue your remedies against whoever may have caused damage to your property. But my role is to determine whether whether the property is in violation of the city code. Based on what I saw, it is in violation of the code, because properties in St. Pete Beach can't look like that.
right,
You have to have good roof, you have to have a good soffits, siding, steps, doors, all that has to be in compliance with the code. So what I would normally do here is I'd find you in violation, give you a certain amount of time to repair everything, but it sounds like with the impending sale, you are not going to be handling the repairs anyway. Your buyer is going to handle the repairs. Is that how your deal is being structured?
correct. As of right now, I'm 95% sure that they're gonna tear it down.
Okay.
Their lawyer, once I sign the contract by the end of today, their lawyer, I guess, is supposed to contact the city to let you guys know that
Okay.
it's under contract.
Do you know if the buyer is paying cash for the property, or is the buyer financing the property?
I believe it's cash.
Cash, okay, because this may be a hard-to-finance piece of property because of the condition. If I'm a bank or a lender, I might be reluctant to loan whatever your, 80% of the sale price is because of the condition of the property.
Right.
So that's why I was curious as to whether it's a cash deal or not.
Yes, it is cash. It is a cash deal.
Now, if I may, Mr. Magistrate, Aaron did work with the city, and respectfully, ma'am, you said it was going to be under contract a year and a half ago when Aaron came out to your property, and here we are. So with that understanding, we can maybe do a hybrid, but the city's really reluctant to continue this for 30 days just to find out it's not under contract, and then waive our right through the sale of a property to recover for violations that have been accruing for 2 years. So the city's position is 10 days from today, you will provide the city proof that the property is under contract. If we do not receive that, and mind you, I'm not requiring you sell it, I'm just basing it off of your testimony, fines will start from today and accrue until the property is in compliance.
If I may speak, the last time I talked to the people that are buying it was Friday. The way I'm understanding from them is if there are any fines, they will take care of whatever it is.
So respectfully, they don't pay the fines. It comes out of whatever you would receive if there are fines. That's how sales transactions work. They're going to give you a purchase price, and if there's fines on it, it's going to get subtracted before you receive whatever the net amount is in a closing.
Let's do this.
See, that's different from what they say.
Yeah, somebody will have to, if there are fines imposed, somebody has to pay the fines.
Correct.
And it's either done by you paying the fines, or if the buyer is paying the fines, the buyer will reduce the purchase price by, if it's $10,000 in
Right.
fines, you're going to get $10,000 less. So it eventually comes out of your share of the proceeds from the property. What I don't want to do is enter an order today that will kill the deal either. If you have a bona fide offer coming in today, I don't want to do something today that's going to cause a buyer to walk away from this, knowing that there might be thousands of dollars of fines. What I'll do is I'm going to find in favor of the city today, find that the city's proven its case, that you are not in compliance with city code, on the several items that Mr. Cruz read earlier into the record. I'm going to require you to submit a copy of the contract to the city within 10 days, and 10 days would be the 20th of July. Okay, today's the 10th, so by 7/20, you'll have to submit a copy of the contract. You can either email it or drop it off in person.
Okay.
All right, I would have Mr. Cruz be your contact. All right, make sure it gets in his hands or his email box. So the city knows the status of the sale. If there's a sale, then the city knows. What I'll do is continue this to August 14th at 1 o'clock, and then I'll make a decision regarding fines at that point.
Okay.
Okay, now, the fines, if this deal falls through, the fines could be retroactive to today.
Okay.
Meaning, I could impose a fine of up to $250 a day starting on July 10th. I can have it start later on, but I'm inclined, if you've got a deal working here, let's see if that goes through. I'm just telling you that it's probably in your best interest because you've got, and I don't know what your financial wherewithal is as far as trying to take on all the rehab of this property, but you've got a lot of money you have to spend fixing this.
Correct.
I think that's why you've got a buyer who's going to come in, knock it down, and start new because of the condition of your house. I no disrespect to your house, but it has fallen into disrepair badly.
You're absolutely
All right.
correct.
So time for you to move on, time for you to make this deal work, and if there's some negotiation that still has to be done, go in with an open mind and make sure this deal works. Otherwise, you're looking at a lot of expense, and the problem you have is that it will come out of the sale proceeds. These fines will come out of the sale proceeds if you end up having to pay fines. So you're going to get a lot less when you sell it eventually.
Is there a letter that you can write up so I can submit this as well?
You're going to get a copy of my order. Did you give your email address to Ms. Bodkin?
I did put it on the paper.
That's fine. She'll email that to me later today.
All right.
And I will email you a copy of my order. You can give that to the buyer's attorney, so the buyer knows what happened today. And if the attorney wants to speak with somebody at the city, they can contact Mr. Cruz more than likely, and Mr. Cruz can let them know what the city's position is.
Okay.
And if there's you heard my conversation earlier about a demolition of a house?
Yes.
Same conversation. Get it done. 30 days, whoever buys it's going to have to get in there, get it done. And then the vacant lot, they can deal with the city on bringing in plans and putting up a new structure and all of that.
Yes.
There's no hurry on rebuilding. The hurry is getting it demolished. All right. Any questions?
No, not really. It's just I've spoken to so many code enforcement people, and they just, I don't know. That was what I was getting from
Yeah.
them.
It,
And then the other guy, Aaron or Eric, he was trying to let me know that he said off the record, I could have people come in here and buy it right now. And the older gentleman says, you can't say that to her.
That's another conversation we're not going to have today. All I can tell you is, while you may have not gotten clear answers from the city, the ultimate responsibility lies on you, the property owner, to make sure your property is in compliance. And if bad things have happened as a result of this water main break and gas line break and all of that, you have to move the ball. You can't wait for them to come knock on your door. I know you may have tried hard, but you may not have gotten the right people to help you with that too. Because sometimes, you're going to have to get some help to do these things. And you can't, and when you told me that this happened in 2018 or 19, that's that's pre-COVID days.
Correct.
That happened a long time ago.
At that time,
And I'm just telling you that, while I understand your position, the city didn't come and help you, it's not the city's job necessarily to come and walk you through the process. It's helpful if they can do that, and I'm not saying they did that or didn't do that. I'm just telling you that you are ultimately responsible for your own property. Sounds like you're taking care of that by selling it. I suggest you work really hard to make sure this contract goes through with whoever you're dealing with.
yes.
Do you have a real estate agent, or are you selling this on your own?
No, it's all cash offer. It's an LLC.
So
They go
somebody
in, they
knocked
buy
on your
house.
door and said, I want to buy your house? Is that how that
I'm
works?
sorry, say again.
Did somebody knock on your door and say they wanted to buy your house, or how did?
They don't stop. I have people every single day.
Okay.
My phone blows up
Well, that's
all
a good,
day.
that's a good problem, isn't it?
No, not for me, it's not.
Well, you're going to get some cash, and you're going to move on with your life and not have this hanging over your head, and you can get some peace and quiet then.
Correct.
Find a spot where you'll be comfortable and not worry about the city or anybody else bothering you. So, all right, let's do this. Look for my order. That'll probably come by tomorrow at the latest, and then you can give that to the attorney.
Okay,
All right?
yes, yes.
All right. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Now, and you'll see everything that's in there. The attorney will probably want to talk to Mr. Cruz. That would probably be the best thing that could happen.
Okay,
All right? All right.
Did she provide her email?
She did.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. I think there's one more item, but I don't see anybody left.
We actually, I
There's a lien
believe
reduction.
we skipped over 4B. SOFLAN.
Oh, did I miss one?
We normally take the people that are in the audience.
Yeah, yep. And I don't think the older gentleman in the audience is a respondent, is he?
No.
Okay. He's not the oldest gentleman in the room, though, so. I got you covered. All right, let's go back then. This is case number 2023-0334, St. Pete Beach versus Southland Investments LLC, 3511 Gulf Boulevard. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. My name's Stephen Rivera on behalf of the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. It's going to be case number 2023-0334. Respondent is Southland Investments LLC. Violation address is 3511 Gulf Boulevard. Violation description: the property is in violation of section 4633 1A, B, and 3 of the Code of Ordinance for the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: initial inspection was 5/26. Notice of violation dated 6/13. Notice of violation compliance date 6/18/2023. Notice of hearing dated and posted 6/20 of 2023. The following is a true and accurate representation of what I witnessed. Affidavit of posting. You see the vegetation's overgrown. You got palm fronds all over the ground. Excuse me. You see here it's all overgrown. We got several complaints.
If you could stop there, Mr. Rivera, we'll go back one more,
Sure.
please. I see a boat in the background. Is that boat on?
That's the adjacent property.
Okay.
More palm fronds. It looked like they were just falling out of the tree and just were never dealt with.
Mhm. I saw the photos were taken 6/20 of this year, right? June 20th?
So these
Still in the same
were, there was
condition?
follow-up photos that were in there. So at the beginning and then 6/20, yes.
Okay.
Last-
So the property is in the same condition?
No, so as of today, the property is in compliance.
Oh, it is?
I went out and did a follow-up this morning. They are in compliance. So the corrective action, property must be cut and maintained regularly, prevent unsightly conditions, and the harbors, excuse me, can't even talk today. The harborage of rodents, property is not, well, it is compliant. It says recommended fine $250 a day. We're considering just admin costs, since the property is compliant. And that concludes my presentation.
All right. And I'll show for the record, no one from the property owner's side is present today. I will find in favor of the city, showing that the property was in violation of the city's vegetation maintenance requirements, accept the recommendation of no fine, but I will also order that administrative fees be paid by the property owner, and that I'll add language about continuing
Yeah.
for
Repeat violation.
repeat violations,
Thank
right? Mhm. Anything else?
Yeah, I believe we have
There was an item at the end.
one more case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lien reduction request.
Correct.
So case number 2022-0146, Nemashon, Inc., 376th Avenue, and it's a lien reduction request that was received by the city.
Mr. Special Magistrate Pete Doerr on behalf of the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. This is a request for a lien reduction.
Did you guys agree to anything? Overhead, Ryan, please.
And as was mentioned, the conditions that must be met include payment of taxes, one of the 3 conditions. So this proves, the overhead proves that the taxes were paid up until 2022. Mr. McConnell, do we need to have taxes paid to 2023?
They're not due.
It won't be due till the end of the year. so-
Very good, thank you. And the property is currently compliant? It was compliant as of September 19th, 2022, and so the city is requesting fines be started from April 26th through September 19, 2022 for 147 days times $100, which was the amount of fines that you imposed on this property, for a grand total of $14,700 plus administrative costs. The city is going to request $5,300 final settlement, and that is, the overhead indicates that what I just mentioned, $100 per day, starting April 26th through September 19th.
And I see a check in the file that they've already paid the $5,300, and the city's willing to accept that in full satisfaction.
The city is going to accept it in full satisfaction, except that that check was returned pending this.
The
I see,
hearing.
okay.
So essentially, they suggested that it go down to 5,300, and the city's agreeable.
Okay,
Plus admin costs.
Correct.
all right. All right, based on, anything else, Mr. Dewar?
No, sir, thank
Other
you.
than,
This concludes the presentation.
Based on the information, I see that there's a letter from an attorney in the file, too, so based on the information provided to me, I will accept the recommendation for fine, total fine reduction to $5,300 plus administrative costs. And I don't know who I'm sending this to. I will probably copy the attorney on it, Mr. Teeter, and I think my previous order probably has an email address on there, too. Let's see if I can find it.
Pete, you guys have an email?
We're looking for that information.
I probably had it on the previous order, so I think we're good. If not, I'll mail it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it to the attorney, though, for sure. All right,
And the law, yes, the law firm is right there on the overhead.
got it.
And so it's right there.
Yep, very good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I believe that concludes our cases for the day.
Yes.
Does.
All right, thank you.
Sir.